And there you have it, friends without names. That was life here. KRWF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. We're streaming everywhere on the blue and green marble you hail from. We can get into your ear hole with the best independent radio station, in my opinion. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday, except for last Thursday. We'll talk about that. 420, we open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and this Thursday's no different. Right before me was Country with Trav in the morning. You've got Stinky Arts Music Mart right after me. You've got the mixtape. Then you got Artemis Shrine. Wraps up your Thursday, but don't forget about the other days. It's happening here on KRWF 95.9. Always something you can find to listen to here. Again, it's a beautiful day in Fargo Moorhead. I'm Wilson. Canna-Talk ND with me. 420. We've got a lot to cover. Man, oh man, do we. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. I talk about cannabis, the benefits of cannabis legalization. The fact that Minnesota is now legal is going to be probably the bulk of the conversation that I'm going to have with you guys. One-sided, but it's still a conversation. Like I said, Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. 1,600 mgs of CBD, locally grown hemp, gets jammed into a tub full of spices and whatnot. Colloidal silver swims in the tub as well. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show. 420, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit, and I show him props. Every Sunday, Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue, 10 a.m. We do a recovery class for any of y'all that's got monkey on your back issues, or if you've knocked them off and you can feel them on your pant leg making those funny noises, throwing bananas at your mom, which isn't very respectful, to be honest. And then 11 a.m. worship. Come on through. See what he's done for me, he can do for you. Cannabis. I was in Illinois last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I've got, I went to a dispensary. I had to. Went in Rome, of course. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We've got just a plethora of stuff to talk about. I just need to plug through that stuff that you do. You're listening to Radio Free Fargo 95.9 KRWF LP Community Radio. You a business owner? You a manager? You got a nonprofit organization on you? Considering advertising? Why not learn what underwriting is on a nonprofit community radio station like Radio Free Fargo? To learn more about what underwriting is, please contact us at our website, www.radiofreefargo.org, or at our profile on Facebook. Why not let listeners know that you support the community by supporting a community radio station like 95.9? Now, to get this musical triage started, I thought we'd throw down some gospel. This isn't regular gospel in that sense. I mean, this is like armpit nasty gospel. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. Andre Crouch. Ooh-wee, that's what they call stank face gospel right there. Stank face gospel. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. Andre Crouch. It's like, I don't know, 1940 something. I'm making it up. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. That's me. Every Thursday, we talk about cannabis, the benefits of cannabis, and cannabis news in general. 420, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. But I got a little bit of time right now, and I thought I might regale you with my little visit into the two states. And basically, St. Louis is right on the Mississippi River. And then to its east immediately is Illinois. So you've got two legal countries right smack dab amongst themselves. Now, I didn't go into Missouri because I had to go see my aunt in southern Illinois. And so I thought, well, I'll just swing in. You ordered in this like little room. So basically, a lot of these places, I realized that when you go on their website at home, you can order what you want. Then they're just ready for you. Because otherwise, you're in this like entryway room and you're kind of flustered. You don't know what to do. You're just looking at a screen. It's hard to be comfortable with it. Now, once you get in, so then once you've got your order, a door goes click. You go into this room and there's all the stuff, that could be purchased. But they're kind of like just mock demos because there's kiosks. See, so So when I get in, you wait a few minutes, they get your order ready, a door goes bing, and there's these little, like these little pass-throughs next to the guy that's taking your money. They open the door, there's your order, out you go, bada bing, bada boom. And I didn't notice a lot of, I didn't see the gouging. That apparently prices have went down in Illinois. And we'll talk about Illinois more because they just had a record whopping sales month in June. I think we're talking close to $200 million. I don't know. But the thing was, so I went to see my aunt who I hadn't seen in 40 years. My brother was there. But it was coincidental because as a Pentecostal, it was called the North American Youth Congress. And there was like 36,000 people in this arena downtown St. Louis. So, I don't have to be the first to tell you that Pentecostals are pretty severe in their what is sin and what isn't in that regard. And cannabis, or they would call it dope or pot, is included. Like now there is change happening, and and there's polls that say even Christians are into it. But it's kind of funny when you throw these people into environments, like, because you can avoid like booze, you just don't go into a liquor store. You don't like to see, craziness involving alcohol overconsumption. You just don't go to places where that is. Well, cannabis has a smell, right? And it's crazy. Like, you could have blindfolded me and I could have told you we were in a legal state. Like, it was, outside the motel. So you're just watching these people just having to walk through clouds, and I'm not saying that's great, to be honest. And there was and that's another thing that's being presented is the smell in an apartment going into another person's apartment. And is that legal? Or is that something that you can be allowed to do? Just like some stinky smells of food or, litter boxes. That'll get into your apartment, So it is illegal, I believe, in this Minnesota one, to where you're not even going to be able to go out on your deck because of it being able to go into the neighbors. Like multi-unit homes, you're not going to be able to. But anyway, that was kind of really funny because the smell, and then you could smell it on people because it was just so casual that you couldn't see the difference between, say, a worker at a restaurant and a guy eating at the restaurant. It was wild. Like, you would get smells from people. You were like, what? This is kind of weird. So it was kind of weird. And I'm not saying, because I don't mind the smell of cannabis. I don't. But I don't know that I need to be smelling it just blowing around on me. So I can see the argument of the smell. But I also know that the beet plant, when you get a nice south wind outside of Wahpeton, I'd much rather smell cannabis than that. Being in a room full of babies getting their diapers changed, I'd rather have smoke blown on me. But it is a prevalent kind of thing that you deal with, I've noticed, in legal states. And so then we, the bus after church, it was like about 15 minutes, like 10 minutes away from downtown. It was like an airport motel. And you pull up underneath the thingy, you get two chairs on either side, little smoking ashtrays. And there were big fat joint roaches in these ashtrays. Like, it's like the new snipe skyper's dream, instead of a stinking, gummed up, 10% left on a cool, man, you can rip that open, man. And you got like some medicine. It's medicine. I don't care what you guys think. All cannabis use is medicinal in some form. And so, anyway, you rolled up the doors over to that van, and it was just like, whoom. And it was just so kind of crazy because, it's kind of like, it's like desensitizing them forcibly. And I kind of like it because after a while, they're not going to associate, say, the smell with fear, really. Because I remember we hit a Steak and Shake after, and all the workers were outside blunting it up, which, nothing was going on. And then all of a sudden, kapow, the place was just, there was just, whatever. I forgot what I was talking about. But that's the way it goes, I guess. But anyway, shout out to Minnesota. And that's going to be interesting to see all that play out. I'm going to play some more music. It'll be 4:20. I'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Here's Get Ready, Robert Randolph, 95.9.
Get ready! Get ready!
Woo! Woo! Get ready. Robert Randolph and the Family Band off the Lickety Split album. But you know what's going down. It's 420. Time for that Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. But first, programming on KRFF 95.9 LPFM has been underwritten by Rough Cut Social. They are Fargo's ultimate entertainment destination for axe throwing. Enjoy fun with family and friends, a stellar team building excursion, or book your party. Rough Cut comes complete with a full beer, wine, and soda bar for your perfect time out. They're located at 1100 NP Avenue, Suite 102 in Fargo. Check out Rough Cut Social for more info. And now let's do this thing.
Hey, it's Phil from Canna-Heads. Like this episode? Hit that like button. And if you enjoy the show, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on cannabis news local and national. Listen live on 95.9 in the Fargo, North Dakota region from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. For our non-Fargo region friends, you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Now enjoy the show.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to 421, I suppose. It's not really 420. Canna-Talk ND with me, Wilson. Welcome. Thursday I was gone. I still haven't figured out how to do an old show, but I figured, if you listen to the last show, do you really want to hear it again? I don't know, but I got an ADD brain. I couldn't even watch, okay, I take it back. I will watch reruns of Seinfeld, but for the most part, if I've already seen it, I ain't doing it again, but I don't really put anything. I'm not watching no Hollywood garbage, I can assure you. I'm back to reading books, real ones. I don't know what that means, but we're going to talk about cannabis, though, for the next 20-so minutes. And I got so much to talk about, people. So let's just talk about this. So, seeds to grow cannabis available for sale starting August 1st when rec cannabis is legal in Minnesota. That's right. August 1st. Cannabis became legal to hold in your pocket 2 OZs of the chronic at Woodlawn while you're throwing Frisbee. That happened. It's happened. And there's no stores except for Red Lake, Minnesota. Red Lake Indian Reservation. Apparently, they had to shut the line down. They had over, close to 300 shoppers. People were driving from all over. It was just a time of celebration, y'all. And it was a good time. It's just great. It just really is cool. And I have it on good authority because I know everything. $380 for a zipperoo at the dispensary in Monoman. That gets me right in my heart by about $180. Or at least $100. Just pierce me in my heart. And I kind of jest because I don't ever buy. I chose to not be a smoker. So there. So I don't know about that per se. It does, though, sound pretty high. It sounds pretty high. Bing. But anyway, that's what's happening. So there's one dispensary open, and because apparently they had medical, and so they were able to just start picking things out. They had the flower. But nobody else does, and it's going to be till next year, however it's legal. But the first parts of the law that will take effect is allowing Minnesotans to grow up to 8 cannabis plants in their homes. And the seeds they'll need to do it will be available on store shelves that same day. So you can get seeds today. You can have it in the, you wouldn't put it in the ground yet, but you could be putting it in wet napkins to get it to germinate before supper tonight. The Minnesota Department of Ag will regulate the seeds like it would be any other by enforcing labels. And that's another thing. You can get it in the mail, too, because there's no real THC in a seed. It's under the 0.03%. So you can get some high-quality seeds here pretty quick to try your hand. But anyway, the seed program is really about truth in labeling and consumer protection. Businesses seeking to supply seeds to retail stores need to be permitted with the department. The Minnesota Department of Ag can issue violations if seed labels run amok. Some in the industry joke that plants in new legal markets grow by immaculate conception, since cannabis is still considered a Schedule I controlled substance, making it illegal to cross state lines and raising questions about if seed faces the same restrictions. But the feds don't consider seeds to fall under that prohibition because they have the last pop. So essentially, seeds meet the definition of hemp. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Green Nectar Cultivation's new business that's sought a state license for seed labeling. His company plans to supply seeds in 7 retail stores starting this week. So there you go. Seeds. Who knew? But you need them. You need them, huh? So this is interesting. This is from Bring Me the News. This is called, the title is Faribault Store has 22 cannabis plants seized on first day of legalization. Come on, Faribault. Coppers and Faribault seized 22 plants from a local tobacco store on Tuesday, the first day the state legalized possession. However, it is still illegal to sell the plant and will be at least until 2024-2025, due to the state needing to get its dispensary license system up and running. Officers went to Total Tobacco. Several citizens complained, several narcs were made about the business selling cannabis in a parking lot tent sale. Police arrived, found the plants labeled by strain. In some cases, the THC concentration exceeded the percentage allowed for legally grown industrial hemp. See how they're still talking? These cops lost, and it's great. And again, I might add, if you're thinking, well, my town ain't going to allow it, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, the law of this measure forces municipalities to allow cannabis. Now, they can, tell you where to go. They can decide where in their town that it can be, but they cannot refuse it. So Breckenridge, Minnesota, get ready. Keep your shoes polished. Dispensaries coming your way. East Grand Forks, you're welcome. It's coming. And that's exciting. So, according to the city, the plants were seized and no arrests were made. The business had posted a day prior advertising that the plants would be available on Tuesday for purchase. I don't understand. But anyway, the only areas in the state that are allowed to sell cannabis to people are the tribal nations of Red Lake and White Earth. Native Care, Red Lake Nation's dispensary, saw lines of people forming outside its store on Tuesday as the tribal council voted to approve the sales in mid-July. So I don't understand. I suppose, because it's plants. But I guess those plants would have had been growing before it was legal, so that, I guess that changes things. I guess. This is from High Time. Study finds no link between off-hours cannabis smoking and workplace accidents. A new study out of Canada found there was no difference in workplace injury risk between those who used it outside the workplace and those who don't use it at all. Because we got so much going on, that's all I need to say about that. But take that, naysayers. Okay, Ganjapreneur. Adult use cannabis sales in Illinois reached $136 million in June. Highest total this year. It's mind-boggling. And let me also say, $4 million a day blowing out in Missouri with the cannabis. Illinois adult use, the highest total of the year, third highest ever. In-state spent $102 and out-of-state spent $34 million. Adult sales in June were up $3 million from May and $4 more than April sales. The price of cannabis flower dispensaries remained at $10 per gram for the third consecutive month, and I believe that is cheap. I think. I don't know. Cannabis moment. Minnesota's first shop sees overwhelming sales. They had to turn away customers and close online orders. So, I like that there's a place you can go to, but I feel like cops are going to be parked like... Here's the thing. I don't understand what the gray area is. If it's legal to possess it, once you have it, it doesn't seem to matter where you are, Like, you should be able to drive away from the reservation without worrying about getting pulled over. But anyway, the Red Lake Nation was quick to take advantage of the unique feature. Some people traveled hours. It's a 3-4 hour drive from Minnesota's cities. They lined up. They had umbrellas. It was raining. By the end of the day, the business said it served more than 300 customers. So, there you have it. And then there's online orders. So you make the order, and then you can drive over to Red Lake. While you're over there, why don't you hit the casino? Maybe make your money back. I'm just kidding. MJ Biz Daily. Long shot effort to repeal medical cannabis in South Dakota launches. Now, some idiot, stinking attorney general, Wait a minute. ISME. Who we got here? ISME has launched an effort to repeal the state's medical cannabis law. According to State Attorney General Marty, ISME's proposed ballot would repeal the state's cannabis program, outlaw the dispensaries currently in operation, and make all possession and use of cannabis products a crime. Sounds horrible. The proposal would have no impact on South Dakota hemp industry. Members of the public have until August 6th to submit public comment. ISME's plan is simple. According to the proposed language, he submitted it. It's a blanket repeal. An avowed marijuana legalization opponent declined to comment. If his proposal advances, he would have to collect more than 17,000 signatures. I don't know. that that's going to work, but we'll see, and I'm just reporting the news. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura. Man, I need to work on my Jesse Ventura. I don't know. I could probably be good at it if I practice it. Jesse Ventura plans to launch his own brand as state's legalization law takes effect. Jesse wants to be the first major politician in America to have a cannabis brand featuring his likeness. And I don't know what that means, if the buds are going to be shaped like him, or if when you smoke it, you sound like Jesse. I don't know, but I wonder what this featuring his likeness means. Ventura, who has long championed reform and appeared next to Tim when they signed it, he spoke about his future ambitions and personal experience. He asserts that Minnesota's position to grow the best cannabis in the world, and that'll be, it'll be interesting to see. He wants involvement. He wants involvement in the state of Minnesota. One personal thing for me is this. I want to be the first major politician who puts his likeness, face, and everything behind cannabis. This is an ego thing for me. I want to have my name considered with cannabis. Okay, fine, Jesse. The reason being, he said, is that he wants to see Minnesota succeed and not have the market dominated by large out-of-state corporations. I would prefer to do Minnesota, put my name with Minnesota, make cannabis a prosperous business in Minnesota by Minnesotans, keeping the money in Minnesota. He said there's no doubt Minnesota can produce corn, so he says we can also produce the best cannabis, so we'll see. A registered Minnesota medical cannabis patient himself, Ventura said he typically vapes, which he uses to treat nonspecific neuropathy in the feet, a condition that causes numbness and uncomfortable tingling sensations. I feel like I have that too. But his passion for reform came 4 decades ago. He explained how he decided to break the law, taking his wife to Colorado at a time before Minnesota even had a legal program, and obtaining cannabis oil from a friend. See, that's what I'm saying. His wife developed a serious seizure disorder that was not responding to traditional pharmaceuticals. She was not responding to traditional pharmaceuticals. Natural medicines, which I champion, help the governor's wife. Okay? He's got issues. He uses cannabis. None of these people go, but I get so loaded. I can't even think. I get so snowed over. So when you need a med and the side effect is, what comes with hydrocodones and stuff, you get high with that too. And then there's all kinds of other side effects. And I would argue that cannabis doesn't make you feel high, you just feel better. And if you're feeling lots better, well, man, you might laugh at life then. You might laugh at the dog chasing its tail all of a sudden, because life doesn't seem that horrible. Is that a horrible symptom to cannabis? You become positive about your surroundings? I don't know, but we'll see how he does with this. Man, I got to keep cruising here. MasterCard will no longer allow people to buy cannabis using debit cards. Banking industry's lame decision highlights the necessity of federal cannabis banking reform. So, I didn't know that MasterCard was actually allowed out of all of them. Payment processing eventually figured out a way. They just do like cashless ATMs and PIN debit systems. Or ACH, which, might be the way. I just used cash when I was in Illinois, because that's just what I do. NASA employee, this is from Ganjapreneur, or MaryJane.com. NASA employee just got busted for using his COVID loan to fund an illegal cannabis grow. He just got busted using his $150,000 in COVID business loans to fund an illegal cannabis grow. Armin Hovhannissian 32-year-old cost control and budget planner. He pled guilty to defrauding a government loan program. So he would use all of his proceeds as working capital to alleviate economic injury caused by disaster. They approved all 3 loans, but instead of using this money to expand his business, he put all his money down on a personal benefit to repay a personal real estate debt and fund his cannabis cultivation. The plea deal did not clarify whether Hovhannissian intended to sell it that he was growing or if he simply planned to smoke it all himself. Once he pleads guilty, though, he will face a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years in the federal prison system. Apparently, fraudsters quickly discovered how easy it was to apply for this free cash, just COVID relief loans. Man, I never heard about it. I could have started an illegal grow. Now, this is, and you know how I bring this up. This just, it hurts my heart. Stinking Singapore. But if you didn't know it, I'm going to tell you. Singapore has executed a woman for the first time in nearly 2 decades. Now, this is the second person in the last week. So Singapore, they just be hanging people. Singapore has executed its first woman in nearly 2 decades for drug trafficking amid protests. Sarah Dewi Binti Jamani was hanged Friday after being convicted in 2018 of possessing not less than 30.72 grams of heroin, which is, that's quite a bit of heroin. But nowhere near the death and destruction that fentanyl would cause, Pure heroin done properly. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not so sure she needs to be hanged to death for it, though. The Misuse of Drugs Act, Drug Act provides for the death penalty if the diamorphine trafficked is more than 15 grams. 30.72 grams is more than twice that amount and is sufficient to feed the addiction of about 370 abusers for a week. All right. So, Singapore argues that it deters drug offenses. But I don't know about that. It just makes the smarter ones I don't know. We got another story here, MaryJaneDow.com. You're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, however. I'm Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here. Here is the studio of KRFF 95.9. I play some music. I talk about cannabis, the benefits of cannabis, general cannabis news, the legalization of Minnesota happening in August. And that was another thing I noticed, all the billboards as I was traveling around Illinois, Missouri, and they weren't any different. I thought they were kind of classy. It was kind of nice to see it. So I liked that they were just off the interstate in a lot of cases. So several pounds of loose cannabis flower just washed up on Neptune Beach in Florida this weekend after a failed drug smuggling attempt. That's what they call causal. That's cause and effect. Loose cannabis, failed drug smuggling attempt is a causal sentence. Local beachgoers alerted the cops after discovering large amounts of cannabis randomly scattered. Brownish buds looked a lot like sargassum, common form of seaweed, but a closer look revealed that they were just seeing weed. I made that joke up. I did pick it up and smell it to see what it smelled like, and it was weed, said Zach, who was visiting the beach with his mother. So what are you, 9? So I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. Wes' mother called 911 immediately, concerned the children might decide to eat this. Of course, just grubbing kids, just grubbing around in the sand, eating stuff. What? Local cops promptly arrived to investigate and confirmed that the seaweed was indeed cannabis. They just a bunch of pounds, 5 to 10 pounds. A large amount, it appears a large quantity, likely broken open at sea and separated before coming ashore. The unexpected high tide seemed like the perfect opportunity to score some free cannabis, but cops advised people to steer clear of the washed up cannabis. Yeah, I don't know. Would you guys try it after you tried it? I don't know. Florida isn't the only state to report finding mysterious drugs washing up on shore. Another $1 million worth of coke and cannabis floated onto a family-friendly Alabama beach in 2019. San Diego surfers, they found an entire boat abandoned, stuffed with cannabis, washed up on a local beach. Governor Ron DeSantis made a controversial decision to reopen state beaches at the height of the pandemic. Beachgoers found a plastic barrel stuffed with 90 pounds of cannabis. Beachgoers have found other drugs, including a bundle containing $1 million worth of cocaine just chilling on state beaches. And I suppose that can happen. So, what do we got here? All right, this is interesting. Okay, Minnesotans that are Republicans in Minnesota, they want a special session to address glaring issues in cannabis legalization law taking effect on Tuesday. And of course, they're going to have problems with it. They seem to think, as an unintended consequences of cannabis legalization, that they basically legalize cannabis for children. That's what they're harping about. Legal consequences are a significant, important deterrent from youth addiction. This legislation deliberately took away an important tool. Drug policy reform point had been opposed to the statute. It says that the activities that are illegal, but for those which are no clear penalties, are automatically considered petty misdemeanors. Civil citation, fine of up to $300, which without the threat of jail time. And they claim that it should be higher to deter youngsters. That would seem to apply to underage cannabis possession, but none of this thwarts youngsters anyway, really. I mean, this isn't, but anyway, given the legislator's intent, it's possible the matter may need to be settled in court. Teddy Shum said it's illegal for minors to use cannabis today, and it'll be illegal after this law goes into effect. Any minor caught consuming could be charged with a petty misdemeanor, and any adult caught selling could be subject to jail time. This group of Republicans should stop implying otherwise. So they don't think a special session is, I don't either. The special session should be used to close what they're describing as a loophole in the law that says allows the illicit market to flourish during the transition. And I love it. They can possess and cultivate, but there are no stores till 2025. And they seem to think, just screw everybody, So, if the legislation of rec is to succeed in a responsible, safe manner, special session is necessary. I don't think so. Senator Lindsey Port said the letter is outrageous and an attempt to use fear-mongering. So, they're going to expunge. Let's see. And the governor of Indian tribes, they may be able to start selling sooner. I'm trying to find where it says, but basically you can have it. You're going to be able to have it where you think your town isn't going to, because they put it in there, so you're not going to be able to. Now this is interesting. This is from High Times here. Mexican drug cartels are using monster trucks like killing machines. I know, I thought it was a crazy title too, but apparently, if you listen to country music, you've heard about cowboys modifying their trucks to have as much big energy as possible. And when the rapper died, his brilliant red casket was carried around in his home city in a giant F-250. But in Mexico, drug cartels are making monster trucks to use like tanks. They're retrofitting pickups with battery rams, 4-inch thick steel plates welded onto their chassis. These clever yet criminal gangs are transforming trucks, and they use them for gunfights with the cops. Interesting. The Northeast Cartel, they enhance vehicles to battle one another. They put their initials on it. Other weapons also include steel-penetrating 50-caliber sniper rifles, rocket launchers, and rocket-propelled grenades, strong enough to shoot down helicopters. It tracks that they'd use monster trucks. They've long used mechanic skills to modify cars to smuggle drugs. The monster trucks are the way to send the message. I'm in charge. I want everyone to see I'm in charge. But anyway, apparently, they transform trucks like the Lobo, Raptor, Tahoe, and even dump trucks. But technically, armoring a vehicle without authorization is a crime in Mexico, punishable up to 15 years in prison. But that don't stop nobody. Authorities destroyed more than 260 monster trucks just in Tamaulipas. And that's crazy. Way down, yeah, Apparently, there's one more weapon the cartels have at their disposal, which help ensure the deadly monster truck's legacy: social media. The trucks appear on TikTok and Deadly, accompanied by cartel rap songs. While the Mexican police will continue to battle them, it's hard to fight cool. Am I right? Now, what do we got here? Feds recommend buying a map to avoid bringing cannabis into national forests in Minnesota following legislation. I mean, they must think we're just dumb. Maybe you should buy a map. Oh, maybe I should buy a map, huh? Maybe I should buy a map. Whatever. We're at the end of this thing. I'm going to read this last title, and then we're out of here. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. 420, open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and I've done that. I sure enough have. Oh, man. Cannabis moment. Biden's VA continues policy of blocking doctors from recommending medical cannabis to veterans in updated directive. That's why it's good now. It's legal in places, so you can just bypass that. You know what I'm saying? Programming on 95.9 Radio Free Fargo is being underwritten by Drummer's Journey. Drummer's Journey offers percussion instruments, hardware, electronics, accessories, and more. They have full service for drummers, including repair, custom building, and lessons. Drummer's Journey is located at Highway 10 East Mall in Moorhead. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 to 7. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 5. Sundays, noon to 5. For more information, check drummersjourney.com. They have a profile on Facebook. And now I'm excited to tell you guys, I've got a double shot of Weird Al Yankovic. I'm stoked. First up is I Love Rocky Road. Then we got another one, Rides the Bus, and then I'm out of here. Weird Al, 95.9. Oh, man. Whew, I need a shower. That was a back-to-back Weird Al Yankovic right there for you. Comes with hand squirts and everything. I Love Rocky Road. Another one, Rides the Bus, here on KRFF 95.9, LPFM, RadioFreeFargo.org, streaming everywhere on the blue and green marble. We can get in your ear hole with the best independent radio station in the world as far as I'm concerned. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit. I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue, 10 a.m. we do recovery class. Or as I call it, the monkey back removal program. And then worship, 11 a.m. Come on through. I believe cannabis can save the world. I don't know. I just hollered for no reason. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. 1,600 mgs of CBD. Body butter is the business. I'll be back next Thursday. You can be assured of that. Again, go if you feel like taking a road trip, head out to White Earth. Pick you up a $380 ounce just because you can. But I'm sure there's other stuff too. I mean, White Earth. I mean, is it worth the trip? I think I'm just going to wait. But anyway, you guys have been great. Educate yourselves on the benefits of cannabis so you can educate others on said benefits. You've got some high-quality programming after me, so stick around. Don't forget, this day gets wrapped up with Artemis Shrine. Man, that's fun to say. But anyway, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out of here. It's David Allen, Judgment Day. Peace.